All right, we're good. You good?
So today we'll be planning for the future by utilizing a personal budget. Our lesson objective will be to analyze proper management for personal finances.
So take a second to read the question. What are your future financial goals? And kind of think about what you're planning on doing with the goals. Just call it right now, maybe even steps in the future. What do you want to do? Are you wanting to save? Are you wanting to buy a new car? Are you wanting to get a laptop, pay your rent, pay your bills on time? And take a second and just write those down, the sheets of paper that I passed out earlier. It'll take about 30 seconds to write those down.
You could probably ask a couple people.
Wrap up your thoughts. I'll give you about 10 more seconds to wrap up your thoughts. Would anyone be willing to volunteer what their financial goals are? Someone from this table right here?
I just said like start paying off my student loans and stuff.
It's good.
Anybody else?
I'd like to own a house in the next 5 to 7 years.
That's a really good goal.
It's a good goal. All right. So every person in this room will have to make a money management decision in the near future, whether it be buying a house or paying off your bills, your student loans. In order to achieve financial goals, it is important to make a plan for spending and saving. And then this plan is called a budget. So a budget is an estimate of income and expense for a set period of time. This could be a month, a year, 3 years. It just depends on what you want to do personally. Usually the budget's a month because you get to see your monthly income and then your expenses to see if you're going to have any money at the end of the month. A budget consists of two expenses. There's the fixed expense and then there's the variable expense. The fixed expense is an expense that costs the same from month to month. This could be your rent, your car payment, your Netflix subscription. It's the same amount of cost from month to month. And then the variable expenses are costs that fluctuate from month to month. And this could be your gas for your car or your gas for your house, your groceries or your food, whatever. If you eat out more one month, it's going to be more than the other month. And then spending money, you just either you want to spend more money that month or it just happens. It just depends, and those are the expenses that fluctuate from month to month.
So on your sheet of papers, could you write down 4 things you spent money on in the last week?
You guys are high schoolers, just letting you know. I think we got good time. Sure. And just make sure that they can discuss about if it's fixed cost or variable cost when the table comes up.
So as you're finishing up, we're going to have each one of you come up and write something down. Keep in mind if you think it's a fixed cost or a variable cost.
So we're going to start going table by table, and while you're waiting for the first table to go and the next table, discuss with the people with you, kind of see if there's anything that you have in common and which ones you think are fixed, which ones you think are variable. We'll go ahead and start with this table right here. Yep.
Yeah, come up and write it down on the board. No, just one of them. Yeah. Just write on either the fixed cost or the variable cost side. What'd you fellas write down?
None of your business. None of your business. Teacher.
I'm your teacher. I want to be in your lives. Oh, no, all three of you can go up. Just write one thing.
Oh.
Yeah, you just quickly go up and write a fixed cost or variable cost that you spent on the last month or last week. Chipotle, groceries, gas. Major. Nice. Oh, we got a fixed cost. As usual. So you guys can go. Yes, sir.
Chipotle be a variable cost? Because you buy something at Chipotle, it's a certain price, but like you can get a bowl of chicken, which is cheaper than a burrito steak.
So like I would say a Chipotle cost would be a variable cost because you don't know if you're going to go to Chipotle 3 or 4 times in a month.
That's right.
So it's going to fluctuate based on your budget.
That's right.
Like each time you go, maybe the same price, but based on your budget, it's going to fluctuate. Okay. So we'll have this be the last table and we'll just move on. We'll talk about it though. Just move on to the next step.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on since we're a little pressed for time. So right here we have Joel's monthly expenses. And with these, do you guys see any that you may have written down? Rent, gas, savings. Anyone here have cable? Is cable still a thing for anyone? Nice, good for you guys.
We don't pay
That's
for it.
nice. And then groceries, I'm sure this one's not gonna stay the same, right? That was a variable.
Yeah. And as you can see on this budget, you can see Joel's monthly income being $1,250. That's usual to list on a budget because you basically, that's like a starting mark. And then all the rest of the expenses are subtracted out. And as you can see, his expenses are exceeding his income right now.
So if everyone can write down 2 ways that Joel could easily decrease his spending so he winds up not going over his monthly income. So go ahead and take about 30 seconds to write two things down.
So he only needs to decrease his spending about $50. So decide which categories can be easily subtracted, category or categories that could bring him below his income for the month. What do you guys got?
Easy to cut clothing. Why does
Yeah.
Joel buy more clothes?
Well, why is it easy to cut clothing?
Because we don't require it.
That's a good answer, but for this lesson, what have we learned? What can he cut easily? Since, yeah, it's a variable expense. Easy to cut because fixed, you can't just like, hey, I don't want to pay my full rent this month.
That's what I heard.
Got it?
I also would cut the vacation.
Cool. Shoot. Oh, okay. We're good. We move on. Okay, so what are some ways you guys found out that you could decrease the variable or the budget expense for this month? Any volunteers?
I think the easiest way would be to cut $50 out of your clothing expenses.
Good. And why can we cut out of clothing so easily?
Because variable costs are easy to cut out of. And I think if you found a way to not spend $100 on clothes, it would be more beneficial.
Yeah, very true. Anyone else have thoughts? Anything else they cut out? Yeah, that's true. Cut costs by being a little bit smarter there. So looking at this budget, I would say the easiest ones that you could cut off of, maybe don't save for a vacation right away. When you're right out of college, for example, you don't need to put $65 a month in vacation. Obviously, clothing was said because it's a very large expense for Joel. Spending money can always be decreased, but for a whole month that may be hard to only spend $50. But then why would like rent, electricity, and let's say rent, electricity, and gas, why would that be hard to decrease? Yeah, exactly. It's a fixed cost, so it's going to be the same from month to month. Good. So looking back to your financial goals that you answered in the start of the class, how will you use a budget to achieve these goals? You can list about 1 to 2 ways that you can use a budget to achieve your future financial goals. You can go ahead and write that down. I know. You have about 30 seconds to finish up your thoughts. If you can make sure your name's on the paper so we can assess your learning throughout the lesson, that'd be great.
We have some doodles. We'll admire the artwork. Okay.
About 10 seconds. Cool. I think we're done.